Thank you so much for the introduction, and thank you all for such a fantastic conference. It's been a great couple days where we've heard a lot of really interesting talks about brain health and about the novel research that's being conducted. And this is sort of the focus of my talk, is how people have the opportunity, or how we can create opportunities for people to have the chance to develop those research skills and to conduct dementia research. And so I won't belabor this point too much. We've heard it from Chi this morning, we've heard it from lots of folks yesterday, but we're well aware, and we're all here today to consider how dementia is highly prevalent and is disproportionately prevalent in low and middle-income countries, specifically in Africa. And unfortunately, this is not well represented concerning the proportion of disease relative to who is actually conducting the dementia research, and specifically who is conducting dementia imaging research. And we've had some great work done by my collaborator, Stephen. You can find his poster in the back of the room. And some of his work has really highlighted that there's this large disparity between who is conducting the research and who is actually closest to the problem. And so we're well aware that concerning neuroimaging, there are lots of barriers to implementation. And this can both include some of the infrastructure methods, or measures, which can be personal, so who is the personnel who is capable of doing this research, as well as some of the more well-established metrics, such as where these scanners are and who has access to the physical scanners to be conducting this research. So, like I mentioned, we have the poster in the back, so please feel free to check it out or to scan the present QR code to get a bit more of how and understand how we characterize this. But this has motivated our program, CONNExIN, where we specifically seek to try to provide some of the necessary neuroimaging skills so that individuals are able to conduct advanced dementia imaging research, specifically in low and middle-income countries. And so this is a program that is a no-cost opportunity for researchers, for students, for clinicians to begin developing the integral neuroimaging knowledge and skills to be conducting, as I mentioned, cutting-edge neuroimaging research for dementia. This builds on, this is a camera initiative in the Consortium for the Advancement of MRI Education and Research in Africa, and it builds on some of the founding principles of camera that seeks to train experts in place. Who are you? Where are you working? And let's focus on using the tools that you have instead of necessarily trying to bring different tools. Let's help train individuals to actually do the work on the scanners that they have. We're also really focused on optimizing infrastructure. So with these scanners that you have, how can we be conducting or creating advanced imaging sequencing, advanced protocols that are optimized for your specific scanners? As well, most importantly, and what this opportunity presents quite clearly, is the importance of building collaborative networks to advance dementia care and dementia imaging in Africa. And so this CONNExIN is built on some of the great success of previous programs that CAMRA has launched, such as Spark AI, which seeks to advance individuals in low and middle-income countries, specifically in Africa, in their AI and medical imaging expertise. We have also launched a very similar program called Scan With Me that seeks to train individuals to optimize the scanners that they have to conduct either in previous iterations cardiac imaging, and in this year we're now launching a dementia brain imaging program to help train individuals to optimize their protocols and to implement advanced MRI capacity. And we also have a poster in the back, so please check out that if you're really interested in image acquisition. Our paper came out, I believe, just last year or this year, and our poster is available as well. So CONNExIN is a program built very similar to some of these previous structures that really focuses on the training capacity and on making sure that individuals have the opportunity to learn these skills. And so we seek to address several key aims, which include closing gaps in neuroimaging research capacity in low and middle-income countries with a strong focus on the African continent, as well as advancing technical and analytical neuroimaging knowledge, and most importantly, not just training individuals on how to conduct advanced neuroimaging analysis, but training individuals to be able to train future individuals as well. So this is the focus on not only providing these skills, but also providing tangible, open access, and freely available resources, so these skills can be taken back into home communities and can also be shared for students, for clinicians, for anyone who's interested in learning. And as well, all of this is done with the idea of when everyone has the capacity to do advanced neuroimaging studies, they can propel and produce novel discoveries about dementia imaging in Africa and create a collaborative network. So CONNExIN curriculum is modular in nature, with 4 main modules, starting with the TEACH program, where we have had 3 weeks of virtual, self-paced program where individuals have learned foundational concepts in advanced neuroimaging topics, so image acquisition, important concepts concerning pre-processing of imaging data, as well as in this opportunity, they've had the chance to self-select a modality of interest, be it structural magnetic resonance imaging, be it diffusion magnetic resonance imaging, one of 6 different opportunities. And this has been a trial experience, and everyone is getting the opportunity to learn through hands-on opportunities as well as through case-based knowledge, with dementia being the primary focus. Now, based on these teams of everyone who is in their self-selected modalities, individuals are now coming together both at Aga Khan University, starting on Monday, as well as at Crestview Radiology in Lagos, Nigeria, to begin actually implementing some of this knowledge to actually try their hands at image analysis. And so this is going to be a hybrid boot camp. So we have some folks who are joining online, but the majority will be joining in person between these 2 different sites and collaborating to conduct an image analysis and to actually get the chance to implement some of these tools that they've been learning about. Next, we have a 2-week virtual application dementia imaging practicum, where individuals now have had the chance to learn about the foundational topics in imaging, try their hand at image analysis, are getting the opportunity to develop image protocols, which will be made freely available and open access through important tools and platforms such as GitHub and protocol.io. Technically, that's where the program ends, but for those who are interested, we are also offering an optional 10-week self-paced knowledge translation and skill development course. So for individuals who have really enjoyed their time, they're now given the opportunity to develop important skills about abstract submission, conference presentation, and more. All of this with the idea that we want to share this knowledge, disseminate this across the African continent, as well as to be presenting at future upcoming and exciting African dementia imaging conferences that will be happening. So our goal is to have everyone submitting their abstracts kind of at the end of this year, early January next year, for some of the upcoming conferences that will be happening here. For who's participating in this program, we have individuals from 6 different African countries. We've kept it quite small. This is a pilot program with 34 participants with a variety of backgrounds, including radiology and neurology residents, as well as different computational and biology backgrounds. And what's really exciting is, while 89% are unfamiliar with PET or MR analysis tools, 70% are involved in current or upcoming dementia studies. And so we're really excited to be able to provide some of these tangible skills so folks have the opportunity to begin integrating these into some of their upcoming dementia research. And so we're very excited to make all of this open access and to hopefully increase this number of who's able to participate and increase that blue map of our sites, so in future iterations, we'll be able to have lots of individuals from multiple sites. So we believe that knowledge is a garden. If it isn't cultivated, you can't harvest it. And I challenge everyone here today to consider how we can all collaboratively cultivate knowledge and to advance dementia imaging and science equity in Africa. Thank you.
Very very talk, and you were perfectly to time. So we do have time for questions if we have any.
First of all, I thought that was a great presentation, so thank you very much. The question really, the knowledge is one piece, knowledge of MR, but what about the access? What can be done, what is the access today, and what can be done to increase the access?
Thank you for that question. That's really important to consider. So as we saw earlier on one of the previous slides, the access to MR and PET is unfortunately still lacking relative to some of the global standards. So in the African continent, a recent needs assessment survey by the Consortium for the Advancement of MR Education and Research in Africa, CAMRA, found that there's less than 1 MR scanner per million people. Relative to, if we look at other countries, such as Japan, you're looking at about 50 scanners per million people. So there's this huge, unfortunately, this huge gap. Some of the other CAMRA initiatives are focusing right now on how we can start building scanners as well, so providing training for that, providing training for fixing and maintaining scanners to begin reducing that, because there are sometimes scanners available that are just not in practice based on their obsolescence. There is also I don't know how familiar you are with neuroimaging, about, we really lead the field on open access data, and so there's swaths of data that is made freely available to begin answering important dementia questions. As we've heard from some of the earlier talks, like we have really exciting initiatives that are already on the go and that will be producing imaging data in the coming kind of months and years, and so this will all hopefully be made freely available for people to analyze as well. So it doesn't quite get, there's still this gap, we're still lagging behind, but there's still opportunity to implement. And we think once you have the ability to analyze this data, people will be a little more inclined to find ways to access it as well. Thank you for your question.
Okay, we'll have to finish there. Thank you again to Ethan.